Life is short. As much as we don't like to think about, our time on this earth is very limited. Though it is sad that we can't hang around indefinitely to see all there is to see and do all there is to do. The brevity of life is what makes living so interesting. And it is for this exact reason that when the extraordinary happens, we all collectively drop our jaws. Well, grab a seat, adjust your jaw landing pad, and get ready to be wowed by these 12 things that will only happen once in a lifetime. Number 12, wheel flies into office. How many times have you sat in an office waiting for an appointment and having a trite conversation? Probably a lot. How many of those times did you expect a tire to come rolling in the door and maybe swipe your head on the way in? I'm sure it was the last thing these Turkish gentlemen expected during a run-of-the-mill pharmacy consultation. 11. Birth. This little girl was literally born twice. Doctors found a large tumor at the base of the spine during her mother's 23rd week of pregnancy. Surgeons at Texas Children's Hospital took the tiny child out of the womb, removed the tumor, and amazingly placed her safely back inside her mother's womb, where she would complete her development. 3 months later, she was born via C-section and is now a normal, happy, healthy young child. Number 10. Moby Dick. Whale watching is an increasingly popular hobby, but it is probably better described as an obsession. The rapidly growing industry rakes in about $2.1 billion a year in tourism revenue and employs roughly 13,000 people. Whale watchers live for the moment a whale breaches in their sight. When a whale takes flight out of the water, they can reach heights of 40 to 50 feet, causing quite a spectacle, an even more impressive splash. It is estimated that about 10 to 14% of whale watching trips will see a breach. So what are the chances Moby Dick will breach right on top of your boat? Once in a lifetime. If you're ever tempted to floor it to beat a drawbridge, don't. It never works the way it does in the movies. But this guy jumped the gap and made it. Number 8. Death. Just like birth, it would be safe to say that you could only die one time. But an entire industry has popped up around what are known as NDEs, or near-death experiences. These tend to follow a specific pattern of 1. A person has a serious accident or health condition. 2. Person has an experience of being out of body watching themselves and or visiting heaven, hell, and speaking to figures associated with the afterlife. 3. Said person writes a book about the experience, travels around on talk shows, presumably makes some money. It's hard to know what to make of these stories. One side tends to argue for their validity and take whatever they saw as absolute truth. The other side says they are only dreaming, explaining that the lack of oxygen to the brain can cause a sort of psychedelic experience, resulting in the visions they report. But whether or not what they say was real, many of these people have been absolutely dead and came back to life. Number 7. Skydive without a chute. A 51-year-old dentist and avid skydiver, Craig Stapleton, was attempting a risky team jumping stunt when his parachute became tangled. As he released the backup chute, it became wrapped up in the already ineffective first parachute. For all intents and purposes, this guy is a goner. But he miraculously lands in a vineyard on top of a row of grapes on freshly tilled soil. He was sore but somehow came out of this incident without a single serious injury and plans to jump again as soon as his bruises are healed. Number 6. Roll over yourself. We all know to look both ways before crossing the street. That may be one of the most valuable pieces of advice we're given at a young age. This simple practice will protect you from being run over by someone else's car. Doesn't help this driver one bit when he is run over by his own truck. As the rogue vehicle starts rolling, we see the driver sprint toward it and try to stop it with his own body. Seems futile before he is rolled under the big rig, and somehow he walked away from the whole thing unscathed. Number 5. Fall through sidewalk. I bet you've never thought to worry about this before. A teenage pedestrian taking a stroll in the city of Xi'an in northern China fell straight through the sidewalk and 6 meters down below the pavement. A passing taxi driver witnessed the spill and jumped down in the hole to help. With the assistance of the fire department, the girl is rescued, and we all have a newfound fear of sidewalks. Number 4. What a catch! Look at this catch! Wild, isn't it? I mean, there are just no words except, oh yeah, it's not real. This video went viral after Longoria shot it in conjunction with a commercial for Gillette. It got out, went viral, and fooled a ton of people before being debunked. Now, 300 hours of video are uploaded to YouTube every single minute, so the chances of going viral are slim. The chances of going viral with a fake video and no intention of being an internet sensation? Once in a lifetime. Number 3. Forklift dominoes. I think it's safe to say that this amount of damage can only be done with a forklift once in a lifetime. Number 2. Halley's Comet. Halley's Comet was recorded by Edmund Halley in 1682. It was seen again in 1758, 1835, 1910, and 1986. It will be visible again in 2062, continue its steady pattern of 75 to 76 years, which just happens to be right about the average life expectancy in the world right now. So, seeing Halley's Comet happens truly once in a lifetime. Number 1. Bring a machete to a gunfight. You've heard it said, never bring a knife to a gunfight, but this crazy homeowner in Sarasota, Florida did not get that memo. When armed intruders attempt to overtake his home in the wee hours of the morning, this guy mounts his original defense with a 2x4. When it appears that this isn't going to get the job done against this masked assailant, he retreats into his castle and comes out with a machete. Suddenly, Harry and Marv aren't so bold anymore, are they? The whole affair retreats out of view of the camera, but soon we see the sword-wielding chap and a buddy cigarette in mouth holding a pool skimmer, and the duo, along with a 5-pound puppy, have taken one of the robbers prisoner. The captured man's accomplices run scared into the night, only to be chased down and arrested soon after police arrived on the scene. So I think it's safe to say this guy got away with bringing a knife to a gunfight. So that's it, 12 things that only happen once in a lifetime. What are your once-in-a-lifetime experiences? Leave them in the comments, and you never know, you might just make it onto Terrific 10s.